I know a lot of you are struggling to make sense of my last video, which is about a half an hour. Basically, it goes like this. The Greeks and the European scientists and philosophers from Lesbos and, Socrates being gay and the countless gays in Europe that came and occupied Egypt are trying to force their Masonic perspective, to simplify it, on the world, okay? And when they got there, they knew the Africans believed in mind, body, and soul. This is the ancient scale. This has always been my argument. But they twisted it to make their types of people look good, which are Lesbos, LGBTs, Socrates, Western sciences, professors, philosophers, Western culture, the Jews that were with them, because the whites in Spain and Greece and in the Mediterranean, in the southern Mediterranean basin, and as well as the Babylonians and the Semitics and other cultures in the area, sought to influence Egypt almost out of a reactionary sense of revenge, not to be confused with reflexive honor, because they were in the wrong, and history proves it. Okay, they were in the wrong to try to correct the Egyptians about something they were right about, that they naturally rose to power with a superior philosophy and superior insight. The Egyptians outsmarted everyone in the ancient world, and their argument was, we are superior, we are the sons of Ra, that's why our skin is dark, we are black people, okay? And we have mind, body, and soul, okay? Osiris, Isis, and Horus. Osiris represents the religious foundation of the pharaohs that united Egypt, for example. It was reflexive honor that got Narmer to lash out against northern Egypt, or what's called lower Egypt, because again, we all know the Nile flows south to north, okay? So the Nile Delta, etc., okay, where some of these minor temples of Set are found, as a matter of fact. So out of, the story is the same as the story of Egypt. It tells the story of its history, science, religion. It's all told in one story, such as an African proverb, right? If I say, a man who is rejected by others cannot reject himself. This comes from the same African thinking that Egyptian philosophy and mythology comes from, okay? It's that, well, what does that mean? Well, let's look at it scientifically, religiously. To understand the proverb, you have to look at it in all these ways at once. Okay, so as they launched out, Osiris was the religious foundation, the moral foundation. You killed our moral foundation. And now our military is going to take vengeance and strike back and unite it. That's why Isis had to resurrect Horus, create Horus from Osiris's penis, as one story goes. Because it had to be the pure philosophy that was restored. The Mayat. It couldn't be Set, it couldn't be Greek, it couldn't be Babylonian, it couldn't be Persian. It had to be the pure African philosophy and Osirian school of thought that had to be restored through Horus. He said, hey, you have sought to usurp God. So Set is the satanic figure, and Osiris is the God figure. Now, to the secret societies, they'll twist it and say Osiris is Lucifer and things like that. It's a long story why that is, but you can imagine why that is. So as they rose up and they conquered them with African martial arts, spirituality, and science, the art of war, the spirituality attached to it, and the martial arts from the people's culture, reenactments and whatnot. So we conquered them. We said, look, we unite the land, and we built the greatest empire. We had the greatest mind, body, and soul naturally. No one in the ancient world argued that. When we came around, they put their heads down. This is why it is the way it is now. White people are the educated people. They're the privileged class. They go to the prestigious colleges. They teach fellow white people in secret societies and clubs that, yes, these blacks used to put us in our little sniveling place. After a while, they saw the effect on their people. And they're like, okay, look, now we got to lie, because it's affecting our ability to function in society. It's affecting our mental health. In fact, we're going to make mental health in a way that we can affect the mental health of people who think like Chukwuemeka, people whose argument is very obvious, and whoever hears it knows in their mind, body, and soul that this martial artist is correct. This African prince is correct. And that is the problem. And that's why they're trying to suppress me. And for the same reason they cannot claim to have the top martial artist, I am. It's the same reason they can't claim that it's right to drug and silence me when they can't debate me. Show and prove. Actions speak louder than words. Make your case. You cannot do it. You're going to be fabricating evidence for 2 decades before you try to counter my arguments. Shame on you. Anyway, so the Greeks and all these gay guys come later with their European pagan Norse nonsense, their Roman nonsense, their Greek nonsense. And they say, no, 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 from our perspective, this is what you black people are really doing because we know better. And we're going to make secret societies to make sure that you see it our way so we can lie to our people, so we can give them an ego boost so they can walk around like, oh, 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 oh. Any questions? I know you will have trouble believing these things. I am half Igbo, half white, the son of a brain surgeon. I am the top martial artist, an Igbo prince, and I have a degree in software engineering. I'm being persecuted for my political views because I am a potential leader in the black community, and they want to prevent the rise of a black messiah. I don't think Jesus is going to return as a black person among us. However, I do think that what they're referring to is someone like me, a spiritual man, and I am begging my people to stop pushing love, honor, and God away. We are Africans. We live by an African code. They want to say you can't follow your own rules. I say I'm not. I am following God's rules, and my ancestors are in accord. The heavens belong to Igbo, Zulu, and African tribes. Look up the meaning of Zulu. It means people of heaven. Not in those words, that's one translation. These are religious military men. Military life is fundamental in Zulu culture. No one disagrees. No one. And the name means they are of heaven. Do the fucking math. Africans look at these things together, but we do not look at it from a Greco-Roman point of view. I reject their assertions and what they're insinuating and what they're demanding that we believe. I reject their false beliefs. My ancestors have it right, and how dare you suggest even for one moment that's not the case? You see, I'm angry at white people more than anyone else, but the reason has to do with morality. If a bunch of black non-Christians were picking on a white person because of their belief in Christianity and saying it was an oppressor's religion, I would take the white person's side. I know a lot of you aren't going to like that. This is about philosophy. This is about God. If white people were doing things in accord with African philosophies and our martial artists, spiritual ancestors that we all must respect, where do you think your cultures came from? Long ago, there was real African motherfuckers, real spiritual, the type of guys who don't play really profoundly spiritual. And they started all of our cultures. And that, first and foremost, I go back to the start. God is the creator. He's number one. Okay? All the great martial artists have the original ones, the first ones, the guys who came up with it from nothing or from just the environment and their stage of mind or state of mind. That's what created martial arts. How could you not see it my way? It was the state of mind. And then when the Buddhists and the Hindus and all these other peoples, the Dalis, the Lamas, the monks, they came up with their martial arts system. It was as a result of their stage of mind and their environment, right? Tiger style, dragons, Komodo dragon, and the tiger, the Komodo dragon, the tiger, and the lion are like the main animals, and the Komodo dragon is a superior animal. In a way, it is the serpent's way of usurping a noble animal's rightful place. Think about this. The lion is the king of the jungle, rightfully in the original land. The dragon evolved as a result of its thought and behavior over a long period of time to be superior in physical form to the lion. But the lion is the noble king of the jungle, not this kind of, the saliva of the Komodo dragon is so bad. If it bites you, you probably will not heal. You need serious medical attention, and you'll probably still have an ugly deformity. That's how evil the things that come out of its mouth is, like a serpent. It's poisonous, right? Whereas a lion roars a natural, powerful roar. So what you're seeing here, in one way to look at it, is leopards and lions, black cats, panthers, taking on serpent monster. Roar! This machine, And we must use spirituality. We're not going to conquer them using science. We're not going to conquer them playing their game of scientific, pseudoscientific, separate spirituality from state, separate the things that Egypt combined, because that's what human nature is, these things combined. I see it from a spiritual, scientific, and a cultural, a religious, a military, a martial arts perspective. At the core of these things are martial arts philosophies. We proved our philosophies true naturally through martial arts. God inspired our people in our martial arts. How do you think the Jews overcame the enemy? God took their side, yeah. But during the course of the battles, God has inspired them to do certain martial arts that allowed them to take the upper hand. Therefore, the martial artist, his hands, can be the works of God, or they can be a dragon kind of satanic style. And in the Eastern martial arts, which are, Eurasia, right? These are the white Asians, right? The white Jews and the whites. No offense. But the dragon is their superior beast. And the intermediary, one can argue, is the islands. That's why Japanese are darker. The Indians are darker. These are the kind of go-betweens. Let's use the Indians and the Japanese to stifle dissent in the dark communities, because they are the darker people that have our Eurasian kind of dragon perspective on how things should be. The dragon is also like the serpent. It kind of hides. It's angry, right? It's like, why? Why was I kicked out of Africa? I'm going to come back as a dragon. Remember, nature, spirituality, science, martial arts, they were all merged together. Our ancestors saw it my way. I promise you. Thank you.